ricotta meatballs. These are fantastic because they're light and fluffy. I know my nieces love them because of the texture of them. Your kids might like them too. So you need a lot of ricotta for this. 500 grams of ricotta. Now use a good quality ricotta. I like this one because it's in a basket, which means a lot of the liquid gets drained away. So we'll just take it out of the pack. You don't want a wet ricotta for this because it won't help to form these ricotta balls. So we'll just cut half of this and into the bowl. And so you'll notice down the bottom here, you can see all that liquid down the bottom. That's what we're trying to get rid of. So if you do have a bit of a wet ricotta, just place it into a sieve and just let it sit there for a couple of hours just to drain off, because moisture is the enemy of this. So just going to break up our ricotta. I'll season it with a pinch of salt, just a small amount because the ricotta is slightly salty. I'm also adding some parmesan, some freshly cracked pepper, and you can be adventurous with the flavourings here. You can add some capers to it, different spices. It's up to you. I'm keeping it the very traditional way, just with the classic flavours of lemon and parmesan. And we want the zest of a whole lemon. Can't live without my lemon when I'm cooking, particularly the lemon zest, because it just heightens so many dishes, just like this one. Okay, an egg, so 1 egg to bind. And another binding agent is breadcrumbs. Now, don't throw away your leftover sourdough. Just take the crust off, pop it into a blender, and you make homemade breadcrumbs. This recipe is best done with the fresh breadcrumbs as opposed to panko breadcrumbs or those other dried fine breadcrumbs. This bread will hold it together and then it'll help them just inflate as they start to cook. So press that again. Mashing it, some nutmeg, a small pinch of nutmeg, and some grated Parmesan cheese. Good handful of that. Okay, so once this is completely bound, and use the back of your spoon just to really get in there, combine that egg. This consistency is looking very good. One last thing, some freshly chopped parsley. So I just want little speckles of the parsley throughout these little dumplings. Scrunch it up and just give it a fine chop. Just want about a tablespoon or so, not too much. That's plenty. The rest can go in our sauce that we're going to make to go with it. And we'll just distribute that too. Okay, to form these and to ensure that they're quite even, I like to use a tablespoon measure. We'll just grab a spoonful, scoop it out, and then I have some extra breadcrumbs here. So you'll need another 1 to 2 cups of fresh breadcrumbs. We'll pop it in before I form it into a ball because it is quite sticky. Sprinkle our fresh breadcrumbs over it, lift it, and then roll it, but just be very gentle with it. See how it's not sticking? That's a good sign that these have formed perfectly. So that's the first one. I'll pop it into another tray. And you can cook these straight away, but what I recommend is rolling them, popping them in the fridge for an hour or so, make the sauce. By doing that, they're going to stay nice and firm as they poach in the red sauce. So let's get these made and then into the fridge. The ricotta balls have been chilling, so let's get on to a very quick sauce to go with it. Good quality extra virgin olive oil, 1 to 2 tablespoons. It is the base of our sauce, and swirl it around the pan. I'll add 2 cloves of garlic. You can add some onion to the base of this. You can even just bulk out this sauce by adding some extra veggies that you've got in the crisper. Just finely chop them, and it's a great opportunity to use them up here. So after that starts to sizzle, we'll add a pinch of salt. I'll also add the herbs, so some extra parsley that I had left over, that can go in, and some basil. So the basil leaves, we'll just tear that in, they'll wilt down. I'm doing this to flavour the oil and also flavour the sauce, so no need to chop it. Last little bit. Give that a bit of a jiggle. And in with our tomato sauce. So I'm just using some tomato passata, which is just tomato puree. And we need to season that too, so some salt. I like it to be quite smooth for this recipe. And that's the sauce done. So you can see it's coming up to the boil now. We'll pop the lid on so it doesn't splatter everywhere. Cook that for about 10 to 15 minutes, just so it concentrates slightly. Then all we need to do is pop our ricotta balls in the sauce and poach for a further 5 minutes. Right, these ricotta balls have been poaching in the red sauce. It smells so good. Now don't forget, all that's in here is ricotta and bread, so they are very delicate. So be gentle when you're plating this up. So we'll just grab a few of these gorgeous little balls. You see how the sauce just completely covers them. They're just gorgeous. And it's light, so you could serve this as an entree or, of course, a main. It's up to you. Last one, I'll pop here. And I like to serve this with some extra Parmesan cheese, a little sprinkle over the top, not too much, just around. And with the Italian flag in mind, some extra basil on top. This is a beautiful dish. It's delicate. So if you love your meatballs and you want to try a bit of a vegetarian variation, why not try these ricotta balls? They're delicious. Let's have a taste. Oh, look how light and fluffy they are. It's so good. You know what, if you like gnocchi but don't want to make the gnocchi, this should be your go-to. They are divine.